Alright, Ulm turn 62 right away, dire portent. Let's see, this is Well of Misery, and it was Yomi that cast this. And so yeah, this is going to give him a bunch of death gems, which is bad, but it does actually give everyone else, I think, like 10% more income or something. Everybody else gets a bonus to income. The caster probably does as well. So I mean, it's not the worst thing. Like it's actually kind of nice, and yeah, I think it doesn't necessarily always get dispelled because people kind of also benefit from it. But yeah, he's going to be getting a lot of death gems, which is bad. But I mean, he's not our immediate problem. So yeah, as dire portents go, that's actually better than expected. Yeah, still doing some summoning. We're pretty much out of earth gems, so I think probably won't be getting too many more gargoyles. More patrollers, more specters, of course. Starting to get some of these sleepers. Maybe gonna try to thug with them. They also have really good magic leadership, which we definitely need because we're getting a lot of all these gargoyles and etc. are magic troops, and they either have to be led by mages or just some commander that has magic leadership, like a sleeper. So yeah, continuing to try to get more astral. We missed. This is the reason that people don't like these spells. So it's just wasted gems, but it's okay. We're gaining time. And then yeah, there were some battles. So there's a battle in Macone. So it looks like he had at least something hiding out in his capital, and yeah, turns out that something is a pretty substantial army. So this is maybe not as much of a foregone conclusion as I thought last turn. So I wasn't thrilled to see this. Yeah, I mean, he's got a bunch of Gigantes. We've seen a lot of these elements. Let's see, this guy, I don't think we've seen this. This just, boosts the range. It also has an effect on the strategic map, but here just you can cast your fire evocations at greater range. So that's definitely useful if you're going to be doing fire evocation, which this guy probably is. And he's got his temporary fire gem, so that's cool. No bodyguards. I mean, he's pretty tough, so he'll probably be fine. No bodyguards on really any of these guys. Yeah, I mean, his capital's being sieged, so anytime that you have bodyguards on units, they're probably not going to be fighting, so you're kind of losing out on combat power. It does look like he has some bodyguards on these guys back here. Not sure, maybe worried about flyers. Hinnom has definitely been using some of these flyers, so probably to catch those guys. And maybe figures that like by the time the lines hit, like his troops will have moved past these casters, hopefully. But yeah, always a little risky. Although this guy's almost dead. So I guess, if he dies, that's fine. Hopefully he'll get off whatever he's going to be trying to do. But yeah, with the giants, it's a little less risky because they have more hit points, So, I mean, he still has no armor, so that's not great. But, yeah, less likely to get picked off by a random arrow than, like, say an Olmish mage. So, and let's see, is this guy... Yeah, this guy's looking like, maybe not a super combatant, but yeah, definitely geared out. This is kind of like maybe more anti-super combatant. I mean, obviously, we know about these great swords of sharpness, and this elemental body armor is pretty good. Just boosts all your elemental resistances, which is really nice. And then, yeah, he gets a bonus to the cost, so that's cool. The encumbrance is probably somewhat high, yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, 6 is not, it's not great, but it's not awful. And then yeah, I think we've seen most of the rest of this gear. Looking decently scary. He's got enough magic that he can buff himself up. So yeah, and then these pole marks. Let's see here. Okay, interesting. So he's set up as a caster. Also got this Staff of Flame focus, although he's got some earth gems, so not sure about that. But yeah, I mean, I guess obviously there's plenty of fire evocations that don't take fire gems. So, and then he's got some penetration gear as well. So yeah, I'm not sure what he's gonna be doing with this. I'll have to take a look. And then he's actually got one of his assassins Looks like maybe just a gem carrier that accidentally got swept up into this combat. Because yeah, he's stealthy, and so yeah, definitely something you could use to like carry gems around to resupply, you know, an army. But yeah, you usually don't see him in combat. But yeah, kind of misplaced here. And then yeah, a little bit of astral it looks like. So yeah, and some penetration gear you know, on this. So she's probably going to be leading this communion. That makes sense, having that penetration gear there. I understand that. And then yeah, not sure what these guys in the back here are going to be doing. You know, these are some of his weaker casters. So yeah, we'll see. And then, yeah, I mean, we've seen this army from Hinnom before. You know, I mean, it's pretty convincing. You know, it's got some super combatants. You know, this guy's a little lightly geared, but I mean, yeah, still scary, right? These guys throwing their lightning, like, yeah, this, you know, it's a force. This should be a good battle. So yeah, it looks like a communion going. People summoning powers. Let's see, some fire clouds. This is probably, oh no. Let's see. Oh yeah, fire cloud. Yep. And so yeah, this staff boosting it out, like he's really able to get some good range. Like oftentimes, you know, that's a spell that you wouldn't necessarily be able to drop. Now, I mean, unfortunately, it missed. But I mean, there's still a chance some guys will move through that. But yeah, definitely that item, you know, coming in useful. I think that was a divine blessing that went down. Yeah, on this side. So starting to throw that lightning. Oh, yep. Looks like... Ooh. So, yeah, these guys jumped in, but... yeah, this flame eruption, I think it's really low range, but yeah, I guess it's only fire 2. That's cool. This guy probably used a gem to boost himself up, so, you know, you can cast stuff like that, and, like, yeah, it's just going to tear these little guys apart. Not sure if these guys have any... Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any fire resistance for Makone's troops, although, you know, with the armor... They're heavy armor. They're going to be much better able to survive stuff like this. Also, some marble warriors coming down, which is at least where some of those earth gems are going. Not sure about this guy. Let's see, what has he been doing? Okay, so Curse of Stones, which, yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen that before. We'll see if that has too much of an effect. Although, actually, it does make sense. Oops, this is the wrong one. Yeah, Curse of Stones, like, it's a magic resistance check. So, yeah, this MR gear makes a lot of sense. It makes it more likely that, you know, the enemy is actually going to get affected by that spell. So, that's actually a pretty cool use, you know, of penetration gear. So, yeah, we'll have to see if, you know, that helps too much, or, yeah. So yeah, I don't think these little demons, yeah, they're in trouble. Although he did set a lot of his guys on fire. Yeah, that's the Curse of Stones coming down. The lightning coming in. Yeah, I mean, that lightning is nasty. I think it hit this sage possibly. Yeah, so he's stunned. Not actually sure. He's a communion slave, so it might not matter, because, I mean, he doesn't really have to do anything. You know, he just sucks up fatigue. So yeah, it looks like Soul Slay coming out from that Crystal Amazon, which again, you know, the penetration gear is really going to help for that. Yeah, you know, just some fire magic and stuff coming in. You know, never a bad thing. These guys, they're so fast, they get out in front. That's kind of rough. Not sure what that was. Because, yeah, they're a little unsupported. Oh, nice. So at least some of those Earth Gems were, you know, created a lot of these summons. We've seen them before. They're pretty good. Yeah, that's definitely freaky. Marble Warriors, I'm not sure, we might have seen that. It's an earth like armor boost. So yeah, it just boosts up natural protection, which, you know, is a great spell really on almost any troops, as long as they don't have, you know, really good natural protection already. But I mean, you know, yeah, it combos really well because these guys already have really good protection. So yeah, I mean, 27 protection on, you know, regular troops, that's, yeah, pretty good. Let's see here, some Legions of Steel coming down here. This guy's fatigued out. That's unfortunate. Yeah, and so I mean, he's same kind of thing, encumbrance 6, you know, which is not terrible. Let's see, what did he do? So yeah, Phoenix Power, you know, which is not bad. I mean, that it'll also give him some fire resistance, which could be cool. And then, it's going to make it less fatiguing to cast like additional... Oh, okay, interesting. So he's just summoning fire elementals. Okay. And then, yeah, the fire shield is probably just for survivability, like in case, somebody gets close to him. So, yeah, not ideal, I would say. I'm not sure, like, what his base armor, like, what his base encumbrance is. But, I mean, if you're just going to be using him as a caster, like, yeah, something like this. Let's take a look at... So like his spellcasting encumbrance is pretty nasty. So I mean, I think this gets added like every time you cast a spell, or it might even be more than this, to the fatigue cost of the spell. But anyway, you really don't want your spellcasting encumbrance to be high, and this is pretty high. But I mean, yeah, he still managed to get out 2 fire elementals, so that's not bad. He probably has not actually super high fire. In fact, just enough. So maybe it didn't matter that much. But yeah, he is going to be sleeping here, so he might jump in once he wakes back up. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably just too many of these summons here. Yeah, some more of those flame eruption coming in. Let's see, do these guys get any? Yeah, still no protection buffs for these guys, and they're like, they really kind of melt. Because I mean, they're not ethereal or anything, like, and with 0 protection, it's just, yeah, like anything will kill them in mass. So yeah, this is maybe overkill with some of these bodyguards, but I mean, like, yeah, not Makone, Hinnom has been throwing, a lot of flyers into the back, so yeah, I mean, definitely makes sense. It's just like, yeah, those flame eruptions were really, really effective. So some blindness coming out. Yeah, it's pretty good, like anti-elite spell, I think. Not sure how easy it is to resist. Although, MR18 is like, it's not terrible, but you can definitely get stuff through that. This lightning's definitely, causing some problems. But yeah, I don't know if this is a second wave of these, or if, yeah, just not too many of them killed. Definitely a few of them going down to the lightnings. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a front line anymore. These crushers didn't look like they did too much. Probably, again, more for siege strength. So yeah, he's routed already. It might be just like a HP route, like a general. No. So yeah, another case, where... Yeah, I mean, morale 17 is not bad, but yeah, really for these super combatants, morale is definitely, a component that you want to take a look at. Like a lot of times, people use items that'll let them go berserk and stuff like that, which is a little risky, for casters, because, if they get hit with something random early, and berserk before they go through their, buff cycle, then yeah, that could be really bad. But yeah, I don't think he did too much other than, casting his fire elementals, which is never bad, full-size fire elementals. I don't know if Makone dropped any fire resistance. Doesn't look like it. Definitely something they could do if they have the research. Makone has like a lot of fire and a lot of earth access. But yeah, I don't know. This didn't look like it went well for Hinnom. No losses. Let's take a look here. Yeah, 11 Gigantes, that definitely hurts. Ooh, he lost to Cyclops. Yeah, that definitely hurts. I wonder if it was how much gear. He lost that poor assassin that probably shouldn't have been in the battle. That's too bad. Although, I mean, he gets these for free from an event, so yeah, not a big deal. And then, just a regular commander. He lost all 3 of his sages, probably burned out the communion, I'm guessing. Let's take a quick look. But yeah, I mean, Hinnom, yeah, we'll talk about Hinnom's losses. I'm just curious. I play a lot of communion nations. You know what? I wonder if he... No, yeah, they survived all those flame eruptions, which is really kind of a miracle. Like, yeah. Let's see here. A lot of... So yeah, part of it is they took... Well, it looks like they were probably already diseased, so yeah, they were like about to die. And then, of course, once you go over 200 fatigue, then yeah, you start to take HP damage, and these guys like both only have 1 hit point, so yeah, not too surprising. that they burned out. Although it looks like it lasted for most of the battle, which is pretty good. You know, I mean, anytime you have a communion that survives most of the battle, and this was probably like a longer battle. Let's see. Yeah, maybe they didn't die to fatigue. I don't know. Yeah, still going, still soul slaying. Yeah, there it was. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I was just curious. So yeah, burned out the communion, but I mean, you know, those sages, most of them were like super messed up, so like no great loss there. But yeah, I mean, for Hinnom, you know, I mean, some of his, looks like most of his casters, he lost a Horite Shaman. Not sure how expensive they are. I don't think they're too bad. 2 of his Melkarts survived, so that's good. I mean, he did lose one, so that always hurts. But yeah, I mean, you know, he lost all of his corpse constructs. Those are summon. That's air gems. That hurts. The Dawn Guard, you know, not cheap. We've seen them. You know, these Rephite Warriors, his Sacreds, also like, yeah, really expensive, losing 7 of those. And then yeah, like, you know, his like demon summons as well. So yeah, I mean, this really hurts. And yeah, I wasn't thrilled to see this, you know, because I'd already ended my nap, and was thinking like, okay, cool, I'll be able to, you know, jump in and vulture some territory nice and easy. And yeah, you know, Makone fighting back. Like, yeah, this war has been just back and forth for, you know, a long time now, and continues to be. But you know, we've already committed, so we'll just have to deal with that army. And then yeah, we just took this from Helheim with our archers. No losses there. And then yeah, this was Helheim, you know, with his usual low commitment assaults, relatively low commitment, a little higher. These guys, you know, actually have some gear. So yeah, I don't know if we've seen this Ring of the Warrior blood item, plus a lot of attack skill. Really cool. Blood actually has like some decent items, definitely. So, you know, another reason, you know, if you can splash yourself into blood, you know, forging some items is not a bad use for that, because a lot of times it can be kind of hard to, you know, get a lot of blood summons if your nation isn't already set up for it. But forging some items isn't too much of an ask if you're just wiggling into it. So yeah, this guy's going in. There's not a whole lot here defending it. You know, just 2 casters really. So we'll see, but I mean, these are kind of nasty, and I mean, you know, these guys don't, I think, have any magic weapons, right? Yeah, it's not on the bless, it's not like part of the kit that he's been giving them. So yeah, I mean, this body ethereal is going to be annoying. Helheim's magic resistance, yeah, is pretty good, so astral shield shouldn't do too much, but yeah, I mean, you know, regeneration, you know, with a good amount of hit points. They're basically asleep now, so I don't know how they're going to kill them. Okay, Leeching Touch. Yeah, that'll do it. I can't remember. I think that's a blood spell. Yeah. Pretty good, like, anti-elite or maybe even super combatant. I'm not sure, like, how good the magic resistance check needs to be. Yeah, Frighten. They're probably off script now, so, yeah, we'll see. Not, I mean, the worst idea. Yeah, you can see, like, yeah, so it's, I wonder if it shows it from the spell. No, I don't think so, yeah, because, I mean, you know, this doesn't make sense. So this is coming from the spell, but it doesn't actually show it. But yeah, I mean, morale 11, morale 12, so yeah, Frighten, you know, definitely doing some work. Like, if these guys, yeah, take some damage maybe from, like, Leeching Touch, yeah, so this guy's almost dead, you know, might get a rout, but yeah, I mean, ideally they would just keep spamming Leeching Touch. But yeah, they're pretty much, I think, both, yeah, like, they're asleep, and then they wake up, and then it looks like, yeah, we had, yeah, that's a full route. So let's see, this guy probably gets away, because, yeah, elves are really fast, and Helheim has some extra speed on his bless. So yeah, that didn't work out, but I mean, you know, Helheim didn't lose anything, maybe lost something in the retreat, but still, yeah, just, you know, more low commitment stuff from Helheim. And like, yeah, could have worked, definitely. And there's not a whole lot in this fort, and now he knows that, so we might be seeing a larger attack next turn, possibly. And then yeah, we actually, another lucky event. And this province is actually decent, so yeah, got some extra income from that, really nice. And then another one of our governors, you know, actually helping us out again, so that's cool. We lost a scout, just to some PD, actually, so, you know, PD sometimes can find scouts. And then we caught a scout and killed some of our own wolves with our archers. So, you know, that's cool. But, you know, it happens. And at least, hey, you know, our patrollers are actually doing something. Would prefer to be catching, you know, I mean, not too worried about Jabalba at this point. But, yeah, you know, the fewer scouts in our territory, the better. So, yeah, starting to move, you know, towards Macon. That's pretty much what's going on here. So, you know, we've got a lot of scouts moving forward to, you know, try to figure out, like, are there any forts out here that we don't know about? You know, are there any, you know, troop concentrations? Like, we have definitely seen him attack Lanka before, so it's not impossible. You know, there's a fort or some armies down here, so definitely want to find that out before we move in. Putting together, you know, just some small, like, raiding parties here. I guess, like, medium-sized raiding parties, you know, and moving them out, you know, towards the border. Yeah, doing some site searching with this guy, but he will be a raider as well, you know, once the war actually starts. I forget exactly, I think it's 2 more turns before attacks can land. So, yeah, so we're still just sort of preparing. Yeah, sneaking some Steel Maidens out. Yeah, pre-positioning inside enemy territory while it's, like, still a nap. I don't know. You know, it's, it's one of those gray areas about whether or not that's breaking the nap. I don't think I penetrate my, you know, my raider groups too deeply, you know, so it's plausibly deniable. Like, they could have launched from my territory, but yeah, it's just, you know, a way to get some more sight and just pre-position. You could position more deeply, and then they would definitely know that, okay, yeah, that they jumped the gun a little bit through stealth, but, you know, yeah, it's probably one of the reasons that, like, elves usually aren't interested in naps, because, yeah, then they can't elf effectively. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of elfy stuff. And then, yeah, bringing together our main army here. And, I mean, we've seen all these elements before, you know, so we've got the vine ogres in front, you know, with our guys with the great swords. You know, we don't have to worry so much, you know, about the Jarls, obviously, but Macon, you know, has been using his Cyclopses, you know, in sort of a super combatant role sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, these guys will definitely still be useful. And then, yeah, we've got, you know, the gargoyle, like, kill squads back here, you know, with weapons of sharpness coming down on them. And then, yeah, just ignore these patrollers. And then, yeah, we still have, you know, some whites, you know, again, who are just useful troops, you know, especially against, like, say, you know, the Giganti hoplites, which are pretty nasty. So, you know, we're going to need some a little better to cut through those. And if they make it in contact, you know, with one of the Cyclopses, that'll be good too. So yeah, let's see here. And then gathering them here, you know, I mean, we might be getting scouted here, but I'd prefer to not, you know, mass right on the border just yet, so that he doesn't necessarily know that, like, this is where our main, you know, strike is going to come. This force isn't stealthy, so, I mean, we will reveal it in time, but I feel like, you know, the longer you can wait before actually, like, revealing, you know, where you're gonna hit and what you're gonna hit with is probably good. You know, I mean, anytime you're massing out of a fort, that is a little risky. But yeah, I don't really expect him to break the nap. I don't think anybody else is going to be hitting me this deep in my territory, so yeah, not too worried. And then, yeah, otherwise, like, still just, you know, pushing around scouts, you know, just trying to watch, you know, what Helheim is up to. And, you know, yeah, Nephilheim doesn't have too much left. I mean, he has this force on his capital. I think by this point, we'd already agreed on a nap between me and Nephilheim. And then, yeah, he has a little bit here, you know, in this fort. But, yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty much over. So, yeah, and then still not really sure what Vanheim is up to yet. So, and then, yeah, just continuing, like, Helheim just stretches onwards. So, yeah, where's Russ? I don't know if I actually, like, I don't know if I noticed that this was Russ. So I think I don't find out if he has it, but yeah, he has a lot. And then, yeah, you know, still just holding this down, looks like just with a single hawk. So I guess like not too worried about finishing off Satis. It does look like, you know, Satis is down to, this isn't even their capital. So yeah, I mean they're pretty much done, I would say. So yeah, let's take a quick look at research. Yeah, Alt 7, Conjuration 7, I think we've talked about those, so no need to reiterate. Our research is actually, you know, starting to look a little more respectable. You know, we're still cranking out those lanterns. So yeah, that was turn 62. All right, on turn 63, completed research, Alteration 7, moving on to Conjuration 7. Starting to cast Call the Winds, which we've seen it can be an attack spell, which can be useful against really lightly defended provinces. In this case, just casting it on friendly provinces, purely for patrollers. Yeah, I haven't been able to cast it previously because didn't have any Heir 2 Warrior Smiths, at least that survived. Yeah, continuing to get just, you know, some wolves for patrollers, more gargoyles, you know, breaking ourselves into astral slowly, more specters, some sleepers, which I don't think we've looked at. I think we briefly, was using them a little bit, so yeah, they're cool. They have magic weapons, which is really nice, like built in. They just come with a Helmet of Champions, which gives them this inspirational. So they have, you know, morale bonus to anything that they're leading. They have, you know, pretty good, well, they have really good leadership, pretty good magic leadership. You know, this high for magic leadership is pretty rare, especially like outside of a mage chassis. And they can even lead some undead. So yeah, often, you know, get used just for leadership. We'll definitely use them in that role. Might try to use them for some light thugging. You know, they have pretty good stat line. You know, their default gear is like not bad, so we'll see. They also have recuperation, which is pretty cool. So they just heal any afflictions that they get, you know, slowly, which is pretty nice for thugs. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how these guys go. But yeah, let's see here. A couple battles, none for us yet. So there's a battle in Nephilheim. Let's take a look. I think this is just Raider. Yeah. So Helheim, continuing to use these golems. Yeah, Shadowbrand. Don't see this as much. You know, just one of the brands. I think this one is the most expensive at 15 gems. But yeah, it's the most powerful, I think. I don't know. I've never actually sat down and, you know, compared them in detail. But yeah, it certainly has like the most effects of all of them. But yeah, you don't see it as much because, I mean, yeah, it's a lot more expensive. That said, I mean, you know, Frost brand against the Frost Giants, you know, which is the most common and cheapest brand, that's not going to be too useful. So yeah. Looks like Nephilheim didn't really choose to patrol with anything. I think this is all just PD. So yeah, this is the capital PD. And yeah, it's kind of a shame to see it unsupported. I think they're going to have trouble with this golem. Kind of an interesting script. Not sure about Stellar Cascades. It's like a fatigue spell. Maybe worried like about, you know, a patrolling Jarl or something like that. Because yeah, here's like a Soul Slay, which should definitely be, you know, potentially really good against a Jarl. But yeah, I mean, not as useful against all this PD. But yeah, he shouldn't have any problem with his brand. They do actually get a hit on him here, a few hits. But you know, he has a lot of health. Not really sure what these pearls are for. But yeah, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like this brand can paralyze. I'm assuming it's this leeching darkness that is causing that paralyzation, because I don't see anything else that would be causing it. So yeah, I mean, that's, you know, pretty nice if that's the case, but you can see, like, yeah, it does a lot of damage. So he has no problem with this giant PD. And yeah, Nephilheim is under siege now, so we'll see if that, you know, large force in Nephilheim chooses to break out and go after this golem. I don't know if he has anything. Certainly, like the Jarls, depending on their kit, you know, wouldn't have too much trouble taking on a golem like this. So yeah, we'll see. And then yeah, it looks like Satis is breaking out, and we'll see if this is interesting. Definitely a budget breakout, but yeah, he's only up against Shade Breeze here, who looks like maybe he retreated. Nope, he went in. So yeah, not as wise as Dream Soarer, and yeah, so it looks like Satis's last fort here, or what I'm assuming is their last fort, is now free, which, you know, is good for them, I guess. You know, yeah, it's always good to fight to the end, I think. And then there was a battle in Lanka on their capital between them and I think this one was a big one. Yeah, okay, so this was an assault too. So yeah, I think we've seen this army. I don't know if we've seen Manticores. They're pretty good. This one's clearly seen some battles. Yeah, kind of slow to mass. But yeah, I think we've seen most of those elements. And then, yeah, not a whole lot in here. You know, you got the wall defenders. Let's see, a few of these blood summons. They're sacred. We've seen them, you know, low protection. Only one attack from these guys. Looks like just, you know, some of this undead, which, yeah, you know, they're not fantastic. A couple of these guys, yeah, these guys definitely get used as thugs. Not sure about this. This is usually more used, I think, for boosting. It gives you a boost to your nature magic and your blood magic. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It gives head protection and body protection. That's cool. Very expensive, though. So, yeah, probably was using this just, you know, for some boosting. I guess just for blood, because he's not really getting the nature advantage. You can't boost a path that you don't have. So since this guy doesn't have any nature, he doesn't get that nature boost. And yeah, you can't remove this. It's cursed. So once it's on, it's on. Yeah, and then, you know, I guess maybe also is doing some blood hunting, because yeah, that's not really going to help him in this combat. Let's see, he's got a couple of them here though. Okay, this guy I guess was just researching, because these are both just like research booster items. So yeah, it's not really going to help him. And then, okay, this guy has Dwarven Hammer. I guess it is magic damage. I mean, yeah, usually you're using this to forge items. I mean, this is his capital, so, you know, yeah, these guys not really kitted out. He's got a lifelong protection, so that's cool. But yeah, another research booster. And he's got a few gems, so he could be doing some cool stuff. But yeah, it looks like this is probably some of the last gasps here from Lanka. I'm not sure, like, yeah, he didn't have the gear, I guess. Didn't bother to take off the research items. I think these are mercenaries here from which, yeah, not a bad pickup with this siege bonus here. Helps them break down the walls. So yeah, some imps, you know, from lifelong protection. I think some weapons of sharpness possibly there. Definitely legions of steel. Strength of giants, like your normal like earth buffs. Yeah, blade wind, we've seen that. I think a few casts of like wooden warriors, yeah, to boost protection. So that's cool. And then yeah, some water elementals going in. This one looks like it got stunned, probably from some air magic. Yeah, Lanka does have these watchers, who are actually kind of nasty. You know, they have a lot of hit points, 20 protection, so they're kind of hard to kill. And then, yeah, they throw lightning. Not sure. Yeah, okay, so they have limited ammunition. But, you know, still pretty nasty. But, you know, once they run out of ammunition, then, yeah, they don't have any other attacks. But they are really hard to kill with all these hit points and the protection. And, you know, they have some physical damage resistances and etc. And it looks like they got buffed up. I don't think they normally have air shield. So it looks like that was some of his casters. And then looks like possibly some, like, skeleton spam. I'm not sure if he already had those undead. And Lanka's Bless was decently strong, so like, yeah, these guys are, you know, regenerating and spreading that damage out from the blood bond. Yeah, so it looks like maybe that was Arrowfen that went up. for Lanka, because it looks like everybody has air shield, which is definitely pretty nice. Let's see, these guys on the walls. Yeah. So yeah, definitely arrow fend. Because, yeah, I mean, you know, is definitely using some archers. I mean, obviously these mercenaries, the crossbows can be, you know, they deal a lot of damage. As if you're looking at archers, you know, crossbows are definitely really nice. In the early age, extremely rare. So yeah, but in the middle age and the late age, you know, you see a lot more crossbows, and you know, as archers go, like they're pretty good. They deal a lot of damage. And then I believe these guys have longbows, which are also maybe just kind of rare in general. You definitely don't see them in the early age very much. You know, man in the middle age, you know, can mass like quite a bit of longbows, but yeah, you don't see them too much. But especially like, you know, with strength of giants here. And then these guys are pretty strong anyway, being half giants. Pretty damaging for archer fire. So yeah, arrow fend, definitely a good idea from Lanka. So I think at least some planning went into this battle. And he's able to block the gap here successfully, you know, with his garbage. You know, the Watchers throwing the lightning in is definitely really nice. A lot of banishment coming down though from you know, which, yeah. Been fighting Lanka for a little while, and I think, you know, gets like pretty good priests and quite a few of them. But yeah, always good if you can, you know, to bring quite a few priests, or at least mages that can double as priests, you know, if you're going up against an undead or a demon nation. And yeah, imps, you know, coming out from that lifelong protection. Yeah, this is definitely at least like some skella spam. Maybe from this guy? I'm not sure. That'd be an interesting use. Doesn't look like any of these guys are going in, you know, to actually fight as thugs. It looks like they're all just, you know, casting. And then, you know, from it looks like it's mostly, you know, a little bit of elemental spam, you know, buffing up the troops. Here's some of these sacreds here. And then, you know, banishment, like not really too much else. Some of these cubes, looks like they're maybe eating some imps. Looks like maybe some of the cubes are on guard commander. I guess you can give them orders. I think they're just mindless. They're not undisciplined. But yeah, it looks like, you know, especially with all that banishment, is able to, you know, cut through the front line at least. And now that these Watchers have run out of ammunition and aren't throwing lightning anymore, I mean, definitely took quite a few losses. In fact, yeah, here we have some routers here. You know, no lightning protection, which, you know, can be a bit of a hassle to get out, and you usually can't get it in like great amounts. I think most of it is just like +5, maybe there's some +10s out there, you know, which will definitely help like against these Watcher lightnings, but it's certainly not gonna stop it. So yeah, maybe just felt it wasn't worth it or didn't have access to it. It looks like these sacreds, no, they haven't routed. Okay, yeah. Looks like the typical, like, you know, going for the wall defenders, which, yeah, I mean, we've talked about that before. It looks like at least some of these guys are maybe on attack rear. These guys are just undisciplined and berserking, so can't really give them orders. They're kind of just, you know, going all over, but some of them at least are making it to the back, which is good. You might actually struggle to kill these Watchers, you know, because, yeah, I mean, these guys, you know, they're gonna do chip damage to them. Ooh boy, yeah, shockwave, really good, you know, point blank spell. Shocking grasp, not as good. These guys, yeah, they're sacred, so they have the bless, so they're gonna regenerate, you know, which is really nice. And like this guy's protection is pretty high, because, you know, these boots of stone just automatically give stone skin. So yeah, his natural protection is really high, and you know, this isn't the worst protection item, armor. So we'll see. Maybe, you know, this is going to be tough to finish off with what has left. Although, yeah, he's pretty much, well, he's still working on the walls here. And then, yeah, shockwave just deleting guys. I wonder, is this guy higher level in air? I wonder why this guy is not casting Shockwave. Because yeah, I mean, these guys are probably off script now. And yeah, I don't know. They were actually able to cut through them. So yeah, his protection and regeneration and everything was just not enough. But yeah, I mean, this guy, if he keeps dropping Shockwave, I wonder if it's a fatigue thing. The other guy had more gear on, more armor. Although this guy, yeah, I mean, his armor is probably ballpark similar encumbrance. It's like the same protection level as that Armor of Thorns. Although no head advantage for the regular, scale armor that he has. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty much fatigued out. Yeah, let's speed it up. This is probably just going to be a question of, like, can they cut through the regeneration and the protection? Yeah, it looks like they can, especially, like, that's probably a prophet or a level 3 priest dropping, damage spells. Little Holy Avenger after it's all over. But yeah, was able to come away with it. Not without loss. Lost one of his casters, maybe just some arrow fire or like a Holy Avenger, because it didn't really look like Lanka threatened the back line too much. He lost a sleeper, which kind of bodes ill for me, trying to thug them, because I didn't see him going in. Maybe we'll take a quick look and see what happened to him. And then, yeah, otherwise, like, nothing too bad. These shades are summons, so that kind of sucks. But most of the rest of this is pretty replaceable. These Urguards aren't, like, super cheap, but, it's not bad. So, I mean, lost, like, a third of his army. But definitely like replaceable bits. Lanka, of course, lost everything. He didn't have too much in here, although losing 3 of these guys, like, yeah, you can see they're expensive, and like a decent amount of gear, a lot of it like not, really like thug gear, just some research items and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he may not care so much at this point. I mean, this is his capital, so I don't know how much more research he's going to be doing. But yeah, not the worst defense, but yeah, I think Lanka's in trouble. So yeah, we got a monster boar on our capital, so definitely gonna be sending some patrollers to get rid of that. And then yeah, we had a sage show up, and he was looking for the Library of Time, and he couldn't find it, so now he's joined us. So yeah, with these events, I don't know if it's always the case. I did look this one up because the Library of Time sounded cool, and it is. And so there's 2 versions of this event, and in one version it's nearby, and then the other version it's not. So we'll see which one this is. We're already searching for astral sites, and this is at Old Man Mountains, which is where our astral searching is already like centered. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we'll find the Library of Time, but maybe not. And then let's see here, and then just bad omens, of course, and then we caught a Macone scout, which is definitely good news, because we will be fighting them shortly, and then one of our poor guys, probably from Burden of Time, but you never know. So yeah, next turn the nap is up, so we are launching our attack, and this is like more rather than getting bushwhacked by a bunch of Nephil Jarls. That's not a great way to start a war. This is a much better look. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. We have a variety of raiders. Let's see here. So I think this is going to be our first use of a shade as a raider. This is fairly heavy gearing. I mean, we are using hammers for most, if not all of this, like with, our smiths. So, especially like these boots, 10 gems, so not cheap. The rest of it is all, 5 gem items, before any discounts. So, not too bad, but yeah, definitely a decent grip of gear. That said, like, these earth randoms are probably the best, of these shades for thugging, or sorry, for these specters for thugging. So, you know, better to use the gear on like this guy versus some of the other randoms. And then, yeah, I mean, his default attack is pretty good. The only other slot really that I'd want to put gear on, arguably, is the shield slot, because he can carry the shield and still do his life drain. Possibly in the future, like his strength is a little low. So yeah, he can struggle to, you know, get this attack through like pretty heavy protection. It is armor piercing, but yeah, I mean, armor definitely still matters. He doesn't have the highest strength. And then, yeah, the attack skill is just, you know, he doesn't have amazing, yeah, his base attack skill is only 10, so he's getting a boost from the quickness, from the boots, and then, you know, from the pearl. So that's just going to help him land the attack, which is really important, because if he's not draining life, I mean, you know, his protection is good, and he'll boost it up, you know, with some earth casts. But, you know, it's not perfect, and he doesn't have a ton of health. The ethereal is going to help, you know, against any regular weapons. He shouldn't have any trouble with any PD, but yeah, I mean, this can definitely go bad. So we'll see. The quickness boots is good on undead. He could cast quickness, I think, actually, which, yeah, he's casting quickness. That's definitely a mistake. So yeah, showing my inexperience here with this script. Yeah, but quickness is good on the undead, because, you know, they don't have to worry about, you know, encumbrance and fatigue. I mean, they get fatigue from spell casting, but they don't generate, you know, any fatigue while they fight in melee. So quickness is a good idea on undead, but, you know, usually you either want to grab it from an item, or, you know, in the case of a water random here, he can cast it on himself. So yeah, we could have used this slot to do something different. That would be the advantage of having it on an item, is that, you know, you can, you know, maybe just attack right away, or, you know, some other buff that you can put on yourself. But yeah, Iron Skin and Temper Flesh, definitely good choices there. So, you know, not all bad. You should still be able to handle a single winged monkey and the PD, so we'll see. And then, yeah, this is just some Axe Warriors. You know, we've seen them in action as Raiders. You know, they'll handle PD like no problem. You know, it doesn't, you know, he's got some Priests here, not too worried about that. You know, if they run into anything nastier, somebody dropping in on them, we'll lose them. But, you know, that's not the end of the world, losing 30 Axe Warriors, so we'll see how that goes. And then, yeah, we got our Dominion back in this province. It's really nice. So, yeah, definitely want to grab this. This guy, let's see. Another Spectre. Yeah, this one, we'll see about this. You know, these randoms are not as good for thugging. You know, this is the armor that we got from Bogus. So this is free, essentially. You know, I mean, it says cost 15, but we didn't actually forge that. So, you know, pretty low gear investment. Obviously, like, you know, the Spectres are somewhat expensive. Yeah, these randoms, like, aren't as useful. So, you know, don't necessarily mind as much risking them as a Raider. And then, yeah, just trying to use some Horde of Skeletons, you know, to create some cover for him. And then Liquid Body is, you know, we've talked about that. It's a useful buff for sure, but yeah, this is not as strong. So we'll see how this goes. That's also partially why he's up here raiding this province, because you know, he's right next to a couple forts, so it's way more likely that this gets reinforced. You know, and if I lose this guy, you know, that's not great, but it's not as bad. Maybe would have preferred to, you know, use the Axe Warriors here, but yeah, probably just messed up in terms of positioning, or, you know, or just didn't manage to get him over in time. You know, we have only just recently started summoning these Spectres, so, you know, this might have been as far over as he was able to get. But yeah, probably, if, you know, would have traded provinces with these Axe Warriors. But anyway, our more heavily geared and, you know, better Raider is down here, like in a safer spot. Pretty unlikely that this is going to get, you know, reinforced by anything. And then let's see here. So we have some of our pre-positioned Raiders who are attacking into here. Not really strictly necessary. Could have raided out of this castle. But, you know, we can use this guy to, you know, get a better report of what's going on here. You know, you can see the PD count. I mean, we border this province, so we'd be able to see the single priest, but we wouldn't get any information on the PD. You do have to be careful because you never really know how much PD is going to be in a province because the player could always choose to dump on this turn. But, I mean, you know, PD dumps aren't super common, so unless it's really obvious where you're going to be going, probably you don't have to worry about the PD level changing. And, you know, this is really light PD, so it's nice to know that. And then, you know, our scouts can be a little deeper, you know, and then continue to push forward ahead of, you know, our raiders to let us know, like, what we're likely to encounter. So yeah, anyway, sending these Steel Maidens on top of this fort to hopefully lock it down. You know, ideally not lose the Steel Maidens, but, you know, losing 24 Steel Maidens, also not the end of the world. And, you know, Fort PD is often a little tougher, so it's nice to send them against a little bit of a harder target. And then, yeah, sending our god in with just, you know, some Terracotta Warrior Chaff. You know, Weapons of Sharpness will help. Like, yeah, this won't have any problems with, you know, just some PD and such. Doesn't look like there's too much in this fort. We are in Friendly Dominion. You know, we have a lot of raids and etc. Coming out. So, yeah, not too worried about sending the god in here. And, you know, it's just want to hit as many provinces as possible, like, right off the bat. And then, yeah, the god will probably be linking up with the main army. So, you know, not too risky. What could possibly go wrong, you know, having the god operate by itself? Some more Steel Maidens, you know, raiding into this province. This is another really dangerous one. You know, I mean, it's between, like, 3 forts. That said, it does look like Macone is, you know, choosing to attack out against Hinnom, which is good news. I don't think this is the full army that we saw break out of his capital, so there's probably still more in here, but yeah, at least some of it looks like it's going to be directed away, you know, from our forces, which is nice to see. And then, yeah, moving the main army onto here, and, you know, it's just kind of nice to have the raiders come out ahead of the army, right? That way, you know, if he is going to, like, you know, patrol something really nasty that we haven't seen or bring things in from this fort, you know, our raiders hit that. And, like, yeah, sure, you know, I mean, you know, you never want to lose, like, 25 Steel Maidens, and, you know, if I had more money and more flexibility, like, probably wouldn't be using these Steel Maidens to raid like this. You know, use something cheaper that you're, like, if you lose it, it's even less of a big deal. But, you know, we have the Maidens. They'll probably collapse back in, you know, to help with this army. Have to worry less about things like Soul Vortex against Macone. So the Maidens will actually be useful again in army fights, probably. We'll see. So yeah, I mean, they just have to survive probably like one raid and then collapse back together. But anyway, yeah, getting raiders out ahead of your main army is really nice because then, yeah, if the raiders bump into something nasty, then that's cool. You know about it, and it's not your army getting surprised by whatever that nastiness is. So yeah, bringing up the army behind the raiders. And then we'll be jumping onto this fort, you know, take it hopefully without too much trouble. It's a palisade, but it is it's a city palisades. Yeah, it's pretty low wall integrity still, actually. I think this is the wall integrity of palisades as well. I thought that, yeah, I know that they get, Macone gets extra commander points from their palisades, so these aren't like the standard palisades, but it looks like wall strength-wise, at least, it should be pretty easy to get through. So yeah, hopefully get through that, and then, you know, we can immediately jump onto this fort and take that, and then, you know, hopefully our raiders can, you know, carry forward and, you know, take the rest of this Macone territory. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll see, you know, where Hinnom is at, whether he's going to be able to counterattack. Probably not for a little while. You know, when I told him before the breakout that, you know, as far as I was concerned, you know, he could take what was north of the river here, because it's going to be a little harder for us to hold. It also keeps us away somewhat from Baratos, and I'm not really looking for more borders. And I'm thinking that there's a pretty good chance. I mean, Vanheim still doesn't really seem like they're committed, so it's possible they'll jump in on Baratos. But yeah, I mean, it's also, you know, very possible that they jump in on us. And if they do, having like a friendly Hinnom on the absolute other side, you know, who could jump in and like hopefully take pressure off, would be really nice. That said, you know, I mean, if Hinnom isn't able to raise an army in a timely manner and get on Makone's capital, then we'll probably jump in and grab this because, yeah, it would be really nice to get another capital always. And we also don't want to leave it free for too long. But, you know, we have a couple forts to get through and quite a bit of territory to get through, you know, before we really want to think about going for the capital. So yeah, that's kind of the war plan, and then, you know, just bringing up you know, a few extra mages and etc. That'll probably be joining the main force here. Still keeping, you know, quite a few units in reserve here. Let's see, yeah, we have, you know, a lot of Vine Ogres here, a few Gargoyles, you know, bringing in probably, yeah, a few more Gargoyles. You can see, yeah, we're pretty much out of Earth Gems, so we'll probably stop once we have this last batch out. We don't want to commit everything because, yeah, I mean, we still, like, you know, Helheim is about to be finished. Like, yeah, both of these forts here are broken of Nephilheim. You can see, yeah, I mean, everything is under siege now. So, yeah, this isn't a huge force besieging Nephilheim, so, you know, he could conceivably break out, you know, but he's been pretty passive. So, yeah, I don't really think, I think that, you know, Helheim is going to finish this pretty quickly. And then, yeah, I mean, we'll see where he goes from there. So, yeah, definitely don't want to commit everything, you know, want to keep at least something back to try to resist in case he does attack. We're building a fort here. And yeah, so we've got, you know, a few troops here to cover. I think I'm bringing a mage up. Let's double check. Yeah, so bringing a mage up, you know, who should be able to put weapons of sharpness on these gargoyles, because without that, I mean, they're, you know, they're not terrible, but a lot less effective. So anyway, don't really want to be committing these guys without mage support, which looks like I accidentally did for at least a turn. But yeah, anyway, you know, just trying to cover this fort construction. I don't think Merverni you know, is going to jump in, but I don't have a nap with him, so I mean, you know, and I mean, yeah, he's got an army right here. We'll see where that goes. Maybe just patrolling around, you know, we're moving our scout away so, you know, he doesn't get caught in case he is just trying to patrol out scouts in his territory. Maybe looking at Helheim, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, probably everybody should be worried about Helheim at this point, whether or not he knows that, although, yeah, so it looks like Merverni does border him now, right, like on north and south. So Merverni's got to be pretty aware that, like, Helheim is huge. So yeah, I mean, this could be destined for us, but it could also be destined for Helheim. We'll see. Anyway, I feel like when you can, it's always a good idea to, you know, cover your fort construction. Because yeah, I mean, you know, losing 600 gold is just brutal every time. So yeah, I think that more or less covers it. Let's talk research real quick. I think we have a couple new ones. Yeah, so we got Alteration 7. It's been a while. Let's double check. So that's mostly for mass protection, which is going to be nice. Probably not going to be using it against Makone. They have quite a bit of fire magic. And yeah, I mean, this just gives you the bark skin effect whole battlefield, but that means that you have susceptibility to fire. And then, you know, we're going to be using a lot of gargoyles who already have, you know, better natural protection than this spell would give you. So, I mean, you know, they get +1, but it's not worth the fire susceptibility. This will be a lot better, like, on our Axe Warriors and our Steel Maidens, but we don't have a ton of those. So, yeah, this will probably be more useful against, say, like, Vanheim or Helheim, where we might want to mass up, you know, some human troops again and then buff them up. We might use Marble Warriors, which is another like protection buff. It gets you a little bit higher, then you have susceptibility to cold. So this would be good against Macone, definitely. Still not too useful on our gargoyles, but again on our human troops, this would be pretty nice. It's a wide area of effect, not battlefield wide though. We can't cast Fog Warriors, unfortunately, at least not yet. So yeah, so it just gives Mist Form, to everybody on your side of the battlefield. Really good spell. And then yeah, a few other useful things. Creeping Doom, a bunch of extra bugs. Don't really have any plans for this at the moment, but it's a nice thing to have for sure. And then Iron Walls can be situationally useful. It just gives you, a bunch of like wall strength. So if you need more time when you're getting sieged, you can cast this and give you a couple extra turns maybe. So yeah, anyway, Alteration 7, definitely a nice pickup. And then of course Conjuration 7, looking at those Wraith Lords. And then the new stuff, Evocation 5 is mostly going to be for Earthquake, which yeah, should be decent against the elves. It'll take a little bit of work to do. Our human troops definitely don't want to get hit with this, so this isn't really going to be something that we're going to be casting like with our main armies probably. I don't think it affects flyers, so if we only bring like gargoyles and Divine Ogres have a ton of health, and Earthquake doesn't do a ton of damage. So yeah, if we have an army composition like that, we can definitely mix in some Earthquake. Our mages are just squishy humans, but you can give them various like levitation or flying items, and as long as you don't bring too many mages, it's not too bad in terms of like gem cost to do something like that. So yeah, just a nice thing to have available, against maybe some of the elven armies that we might be going up against. And then yeah, a few of these other spells like Falling Fires is pretty solid. Falling Frost is like also just a good damage spell. We don't have a ton of guys that can cast these, but some, we can definitely mix this in, for some extra damage. And then yeah, other than that, Shadow Blast is also like a pretty good damage evocation, which we can cast not with a ton of our mages, but as we build up more specters, this will be more on the table. It does cost a gem, and then of course like yeah, Earthquake, not cheap to be spamming out, but definitely like at a key juncture could be really useful. So yeah, anyway, Evocation 5, not a bad pickup for us. And then yeah, we're going on to Enchantment 6. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Definitely like useful spells at this level. Maybe looking at these statues, switching over to them, because this is not a bad thing for our god to be casting, because you get an extra statue for every extra level, and our god is I think 3 over, so not the worst. Not that we have a lot of earth gems, but earth is one of our best gem incomes, so not the worst thing to have available, and switch it up from gargoyles. Yeah, not sure about this one. Arrow Fend is definitely nice, if you're facing archers, which we probably won't be, at least not in the near term. Is using a decent amount of archers, but we have a nap with right now, so yeah, maybe would switch this up in retrospect. I mean, definitely there's some nice globals like Riches from Beneath, but of course, like, that's already being fought over, and, we don't have the earth gems to support that right now. Relief is really nice. I don't know if we have, maybe with some item boosting, we would be able to get up and cast this. So yeah, it, helps count. It's, gives all your units additional like fatigue reduction, which can be really nice just in general, really for like some longer grindy battles, and for your mages as well. It's going to help out some. But yeah, really like a big deal if somebody is, going for some fatigue plays, which we might see. I don't know. Helheim definitely has like enough death access that this might be something that, he tries. But yeah, nothing too critical here for us. So yeah, maybe this is a mistake. That said, I mean, moving farther along, Serpent's Blessing is a really big deal. If anybody casts Foul Vapors, and once you get towards the end game, people are just going to start bringing out like all kinds of wipes. None of the opponents, can do this, I think, relatively easily. But yeah, none of our likely opponents can spam this out easily, but I honestly wouldn't put anything past Helheim at this point, or within 10 or 20 turns. And if we have a lot of poison resistant units, obviously, but we're gonna want to start bringing the Steel Maidens and our human troops back into the equation, I think. And yeah, I mean, this is gonna be really effective. Sorry, not this, but Foul Vapors is going to be really effective against them. So, being able to protect against that with Serpent's Blessing would be really nice. So, yeah, anyway, that's kind of where the research is at, and I think that covers it for turn 63.